This one's pretty easy. It's actually just a poorly positioned doll. Like basically its center of gravity is sort of leaning more towards the front. And as the person who's recording this shakes the floor or like bounces up and down on the floor, it actually allows the doll's center of gravity to reach a tipping point and it starts to lean forward. It's not supernatural anyway. You can even see the cameras bouncing as the doll is starting to lean forward. That means that there is a force that's being applied to this doll that's forcing it to lean over. Not a ghost, a physical force, like a person jumping on their wooden floor. Stupid.
Nah, y'all ever been in a bathroom skipping alone, bro? This shit is crazy. I'm in here, bro, just alone, and it's like mad weird, bro. Cause it's like, what if there was some monster or some shit just pop up on me? That shit would be crazy, bro. But I don't know. Like, there's nobody in here. You could come out and shit. I don't even know, bro. But yeah, there's nobody right here, bro. But this shit is crazy, bro. I don't know, but that shit mad weird. What the f? What the f?
This one's pretty obvious too. You have a guy who's like walking around this bathroom, setting up the scene as if there's nobody in the in the bathroom with him, and then he proves this point by not opening any of the stall doors, but just putting the camera down below, showing that there's obviously nobody sitting on a toilet seat. Now, the problem I have with this is that you've been a kid in school. The way you hide when you're in a bathroom is you pick your feet up, onto the toilet seat so that people can't see that you're in the stall. It's pretty obvious. And so what he has here is he's walking around and giving enough time for his friend to exit the stall that he was in, and then to enter the other stall and push it open. The only stall that he went into. It's obvious that this is bullshit.
Like, why? I looked underneath the drawer, I looked behind it, there's nothing making it pop out. It seems like it's when I bring up my mom that something happens. Mom? Okay, that's fucking weird.
So this one's kind of interesting. She's basically just talking about how this drawer is opening on its own every time she mentions her mom. So it's kind of like suggesting that her mom is opening up the door. Obviously, if your loved one is recently deceased, I don't want to sit here and nitpick on your videos, whatever brings you comfort. But there's a couple of very easy explanations for this one. The first one being that the house is sort of listing very, very, very slightly. And so what ends up happening is that this drawer reaches a point where it like unlatches and opens up and gravity sort of pulls it forward. This might just take like nothing more than just a little hop. I know we're talking about the same thing that we talked about with the dolls, but it's the same thing. If you just bounce a little bit, that's usually enough to shake the bearings and allow the drawer to fully extend if that particular part of the dresser is sitting a little lower or leaning slightly forward. The drawers can extend on their own. The second option is tying a little string around it, like a little fishing line or such. I know I didn't see any fishing line or no obvious fishing line, but that doesn't mean it wasn't there. It just means that I didn't see it. So you can tie a little bit of fishing line and put it under the bed and to the other side of the bed, and then just have somebody simply laying down and just pull it. If you already know that that drawer has a tendency of opening on its own or sliding out, or I guess rolling to full extension on its own based on its gravitational position, or its depending on its angle, it would be very easy for me to set up a person on the other side just to give it just enough of a pull to push it to the point where it starts to roll it and it fully extend. Now, the reason I'm saying that this as a case is because when she's pushing on all the drawers, you can actually see that when she pushes on that particular one, it pushes back pretty far and then rolls back to a neutral position, which means it's already predisposed to rolling forward toward a fully extended position. So that says to me that there's a particular point in which this drawer has reached an optimal amount of weight to allow it to fully roll out. I wouldn't necessarily say this is a ghost, but I wouldn't also necessarily say that it has nothing to do with ghosts. If ghosts exist and her mother is there, it's a pretty comforting thing to whack your freaking shin into when you're up in the middle of the night trying to take a leak. Yeah, it's the girl who's filming. She's making that humming noise, and I'm going to tell you why I know this. The way that she's clenching her teeth together and like protruding, like you can see her jaw muscles clenching. You can see like the little bit of a dip in her cheekbones. The way that she's sort of like positioning herself, where she's like, you know, sitting up straight and fully extended and sort of like facing the camera, and her lips are pursed, they're like pulled together. That suggests to me that she's trying to make some kind of paranormal video here. While panning the camera, she's humming herself. It's not a ghost or disembodied voice humming. It's actually her. And I'm relatively certain I can justify that by saying when she pans her camera around, that audio source doesn't really change too much, despite the fact that she is rotating her camera. You know, that means that the omnidirectional audio recording, it's they're designed in a way to like amplify audio or amplify voices because you're recording a person, similar to how you're listening to me right now. Which, by the way, just to like clarify that, this is my shotgun mic. It's not plugged in, you know? That's what I'm talking about. That is what this software on my phone is able to do, is to take my audio without the use of a microphone and boost it up to a point where I don't really like how that's not up there now. So I'm just gonna put it back. But that's what I'm trying to say. She is humming herself and recording this beautiful day, allegedly beautiful day. Seems pretty mid to me, but yeah, she's doing it to create a ghost video. It's obvious to me now, after watching that second clip, that the first clip was bullshit. If the first clip that was that we were watching was the second clip that was recorded, she's just trying to take that the popularity of that first clip and make a sequel. Second off, the voice in that clip it's almost feels like extricated or extracted audio. It sounds like it was recorded and added in post, because the environmental sound, like the sort of like the humming in the background of the microphone that's picking up like an ambient background sort of hum, snaps in a weird way when she starts to hear that disembodied voice, almost as though it's overlaid on top of it, and it is very obviously meant to be a spooky sound. Yeah, that's just likely a bug, likely like say like a butterfly or a moth, a large moth or something like that, flying into the light of a street light, casting a shadow on the ground. I know it sounds crazy because moths are, but like a decent sized moth, which can usually, you know, can be anywhere between the size of like say like a plum or you know, kiwi fruit, all the way up to the Atlas moth, which is as big as my face or bigger. The shadows that are cast by these objects, no matter how small they are, all they have to do is get really close to block out most of the light, and then you'll be casting a very large shadow from a very small source. So that's kind of what we're talking about here. A small object really close to a light source will create a very large shadow, despite there being, you know, despite it being a small thing. The reason it looks like it's unnatural is because it isn't moving naturally in reference or in retrospect or in reference to a particular, like a person walking back and forth. It seems weird because it's not actually a person, but a bug flying into the streetlight at night. Okay, now after watching that second clip, there's a second position that could be the case. Let's say this is a street light with some kind of banner advertisement on it, similar to how downtown places will advertise, "Welcome to our city." You know, oh, here's an event that's coming up. They have those poles on the light posts, and they slip those like sort of flags on them. It's possible that that flag is fluttering in the wind or whatever, and just cutting off the light back and forth as it passes in front. In any case, it's not a ghost or anything like that. It's an object or insect or animal that is flying close and that is breaking the light, similar to what I did before, where it was like this. I flew too close to the sun with that one. In any case, it's like that. It's a small thing close to the light that's breaking up the lighting. That's it.
Gosh dang, listen to that. You hear it? Can you hear it? What is happening again? Let's see if we can get it this time. Middle of the freaking day. My goodness. Stopped. It stopped.
You know what this sounds like to me? I don't have any prior understanding or prior knowledge of this gentleman's videos. However, if I had to guess, I would say that he has poor insulation in his attic, and it's just a pressure differential or an air current or air escaping. You know, a lot of times when you go into the attics, you'll see light coming up to the ground because the way that air rises into a house, it basically, or into the roof of a house, if the roof is well insulated, it traps hot air in or cool air in and maintains that temperature differential between the roof and the inside of the house. So if the sun comes out, for instance, it will beat against the roof. Like the sun will warm the roof, but it won't penetrate through all the layers of insulation. And so to combat pressure differentials and stuff like that, what usually happens is around the outside of your house, they've got eaves, basically. These like almost like metal grates that run on the underside of your roof to allow air to exchange pressures between the inside and the outside. Otherwise, you'd have a lot of structural damage as well as like moisture buildup and stuff like that. It needs to vent. That's what they are, vents. Now, what can also happen is on warm days or cool days, enough air is trying to escape through those vents as that envelope increases. If he has poor insulation in that attic, it's probably warming up this cold air, air conditioning, and it's rattling the doors because the air is trying to force itself through the cracks. And so that what's happening is similar to this. If I were to take like a Post-it, for instance, and blow on the Post-it, you see how it like moves? That's basically what's happening, is the air is trying to pass through his door. It's lifting the door, and then as the air cools, it like batters the door down. Now, I'm totally, not saying that that's 100% what it is, but I would hazard a guess that I'm correct.
Why do y'all want me to go down in the basement so bad? I'm already scared as hell. My fiance's home now, so it's a little bit better, but I don't want to go down there. Gosh dang. I haven't heard it again anyway. It was probably just the air conditioner making a freaking noise or something, you know what I mean? Well, okay, no. Okay. That wasn't no toy. That wasn't no toy, y'all. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was ridiculous. Yeah, let's just not
Now, everybody reacts to things differently. The added exposition that he has disembodied voices in his basement suggests that he's setting this entire thing up to be a ghost video. And so he's blaming that rattling door, whether he's doing it himself or he's blaming that rattling door on ghosts. And then he's just like, oh, my rattling door has gotten a lot of popularity. Let's just amp up this sort of thing. And this is what a lot of people do when they have paranormal experiences. If you get your 15 minutes of fame and you're getting popular, there's a financial sort of incentive to continue to trick people and to get more and more of a larger audience and people to be more interested in your videos. Now, people coming back to them. Now, what he's doing here is he's amping it up. He's giving you the entertainment that you are asking for, because in exchange for your viewership, he's going to get money, right? And so in this case, he's trying to go viral so that he can gain a subscription so a bunch of subscribers to help monetize his hijinks, basically. Now, what this sounds like to me, because of how tinny and loud and sort of crisp that audio is, it sounds like to me that he's playing the sounds of a child through a Bluetooth speaker. And I'm very specifically saying a mono Bluetooth speaker. It's not two speakers, it's one speaker, because it's very compressed and tinny, and it's very loud. Like, he's turned the volume all the way up and stuck it in the basement. And he's basically, when he comes downstairs, you can hear almost like a washer or something going in the background. Maybe the air conditioning system is running, so there's a little bit of a muffled sort of droning sound in the background. But then very clearly and very tinly, a voice comes through the basement, and it sounds like a child. Now, fast forward a little bit into the clip, and you hear a disembodied scream from that child, which also, to me, sounds like a Bluetooth speaker, or some kind of like just audio basically playing through a Bluetooth speaker. Now, I'm relatively certain that's what's going on here. Also, his reactions to it seemed a little disingenuous. I know people react to different stimulation in different sort of situations, better or worse than other people. But to me, it didn't really feel like he was genuinely startled or scared by that, because the kind of EVP, or that kind of like auditory, proof of some kind of dubious or supernatural entity being inside of your house would not usually elicit a very calm result like whoa, whoa, but in fact it would be like a holy shit, that's insane. Like, gotta go back and check to see if my recording got it, and then I gotta call people, dude, I just heard a freaking disembodied voice in my basement. You get like a really much more grandiose sort of response, like this sort of fight or flight response. You've got this unknown variable that could cause you damage, or could cause you, some kind of grief or some kind of personal harm, and your reaction to it is, whoa, oh, that was kind of neat. It just doesn't seem very genuine to me. Now, that being said, again, people react differently. This could just be a normal thing for him. But I see there's about 5 minutes left on the video, but I'm going to cut it there. I think I'm pretty satisfied to not watch any more of his stuff. I know this is a bit of a departure. I've been on my balcony a little bit, and I've actually been having a lot of fun with that. I don't really like this too much. I'm a fan. I like to do deep dives into these videos and sort of debunk them. But I'm finding myself to be more and more drawn to paranormal investigations rather than debunking other people's content. So if you guys are new here, this is what Nick and I do. We sit around and we sort of debunk these ghost videos every, Nick, almost every single day he releases a video. On Tuesdays, you usually get a video with both of us in it. In some cases, that'll be our paranormal investigations. In some cases, that'll be us sitting together debunking or discussing our paranormal investigations and the evidence that we got. On Fridays, you get exclusives from me. And yeah, the rest of the week. So what I'm planning on doing is, going forward, I'm going to be doing like larger and larger projects. I would like to be doing more ghost hunts, so I'm going to be going out and doing my own investigations. The video that you're going to see next week is going to be talking about a little bit of the gear and stuff that I've been using, and what my plans are for the future of my part of the channel. And then hopefully what I'll be doing is I'll be going out and gathering evidence, and then I'll be getting Nick to come on, and together he can shit all over my investigations and tell me why everything that found was bullshit. So yeah, that's going to do it for today. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the like button if you like this kind of content. Hit the subscribe button. Maybe hit the notification bell just to know when some new videos come out. It might be a little over the top with the amount of things that Nick posts, so maybe don't hit that notification bell. But I highly encourage you to comment down below what kind of videos you want us to do, what kind of places you want us to go to, and help me convince Nick to do more paranormal investigations earnestly than not. We have an episode that's coming out in the beginning of August that we're editing right now. It's our paranormal investigation in another cemetery, where a viewer has asked us to go and use a Ouija board and basically not say goodbye and see how we deal with that. Well, we did it. We went to the cemetery. We did it. It's about a 40-minute long video. I tried to cut it down as much as I could to try to get rid of a lot of the schmutz and stuff. Try to cut it down, get rid of a lot of the schmutz and stuff. But at the end of the day, 40 minutes is 40 minutes. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Back on my balcony next Friday. See you there. Peace.